Here we'll get some more rational inequality practice. As always, our first step is to figure out what the LCD is for this inequality. Since we have only one denominator, and that denominator is x minus 2, that is automatically our LCD. We'll just write here that our LCD is x minus 2. Now that we know that, we will multiply any terms by whatever we need to make the denominator into the LCD. Our first fraction already has a denominator of x minus 2, so it's okay. We don't have to do anything to it. However, the whole number on the right is negative 2. We're going to need to make a change to that. We can think of this negative 2 as also being a fraction. We'll write negative 2 over the invisible 1. Now, in order to make that 1 on the bottom into the LCD, we'll have to multiply on the top and bottom of this new fraction by x minus 2. So we'll make a note that we need x minus 2 on the top and bottom. This means the left side will not change at all. It will still be 4x plus 2 over x minus 2. We'll say that's greater than or equal to the modified version of this negative 2 over 1 fraction. So we'll start with negative 2 over 1 and multiply on top and bottom by x minus 2. This now means that our fraction on the right has the LCD. Now we'll move that fraction over to the left and simplify. We'll now take this entire fraction on the right, move it to the left, and we'll change the sign on it. Since it's negative, we'll change it to positive. Now on the left, we have 4x plus 2 times x minus 2 all over the LCD, which is x minus 2. We'll still say it's greater than or equal to 0. Now we'll take that 2 outside of those parentheses and multiply it by x and negative 2. We'll still have 4x plus 2 at the beginning, and now 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. This will still all be over x minus 2. Now we combine the like terms. If we combine 4x and 2x, we now have 6x. And if we combine the 2 and the negative 4, we'll end up with negative 2. This will still all be over x minus 2. You will still have the greater than or equal to symbol, and then we'll put 0. This is our simplified inequality, and then using this, we can find the zeros and asymptotes. With this simplified inequality, we can find the zeros by setting the top equal to 0. We'll now say 6x minus 2 is equal to 0. We may add 2 to both sides in order to move the negative 2 over. We'll have 6x is equal to 2. And if we divide both sides by the number next to x, that's 6, we'll get x equals 2/6. You may rewrite this as x equals 1/3. Now we can find the asymptotes by setting the bottom equal to 0. The bottom just has x minus 2, so we'll set that equal to 0. If we add 2 to both sides, we'll end up with x equals 2 for our asymptote. Now that we have the zeros and asymptotes, we'll place them on a number line and try to draw a picture. On our number line, let's put a mark at 1/3 and put another mark at 2. We'll also place negative infinity and positive infinity on our line. Then for our 0, we're going to place a circle on there depending on what the symbol says in this inequality. Greater than or equal to will give us a closed circle. If this had been strictly greater, it would have been open. Therefore, we'll have a closed circle at 1/3. Then our asymptote will always be an open circle. So we'll put an open circle at +2, and this will split our number line into 3 regions, A, B, and C. Here we'll go to region A and select an x that is less than 1/3. Let's try x equals 0, and let's plug that in everywhere we see x in our inequality. We'll take 6 times 0 minus 2 over 0 minus 2. 6 times 0 is still 0, and so we'll have -2 over -2. -2 over -2 will give us +1. That is a positive answer, and that tells us that everything in region A will be positive. Now let's check our condition for this inequality. We have greater than or equal to, which means that we want our inequality to return positive. This means since region A is positive, that's a match, and region A will be part of the answer. Next, we move on to region B and pick an x between 1/3 and 2. Let's try x equals 1. If we plug 1 in for x, we'll have 6 times 1 minus 2 over 1 minus 2. Well, 6 times 1 is 6, minus 2 gives 4. And then 1 minus 2 gives -1. If we take 4 over -1, we'll get -4, which is a negative answer. This means region B must be negative. But since our condition was that we must return positive, B does not match, and it cannot be part of the answer. Now we move on to region C and pick an x that is greater than 2. Let's try 3 here. We'll take 6 times 3 minus 2 over 3 minus 2. 6 times 3 is 18, minus 2 is 16. And then 3 minus 2 is 1. If we divide, we'll get 16 for our answer, but most importantly, it is positive. Since we just did region C, this means that region C is positive, and that does match the condition. Therefore, now we'll say our solution set is region A, which is -infinity to 1/3, parentheses around -infinity, and then square bracket around 1/3 because we have a closed circle. Then union, and now region C is 2 to infinity. Infinity will always be a parentheses, and since 2 is open, it will also be a parentheses. Therefore, this is the solution set to our inequality.